Okay, man. So let's just finally we've got some good news about Ford, Keith. I mean, we've been hearing about all the shutdowns and the microchip. You know, they can't build vehicles because of the microchip shortage. You know, in recent news, we've heard about Ford basically building vehicles without specific, you know, like a fuel sensor,
having to leave
things off,
non-critical components
out.
Yeah,
it's a huge deal, and we'll get into that, but in a later segment. But what we want to talk about is some good news here for Ford truck lovers or just tech lovers in general. I know this is kind of near and dear to your heart because we met at SEMA the last time we were there with a company called CURT. And that's, how do you spell that? K-U-R-T?
Yeah, I think it's K-U-R-T. So they make towable products is the best way I can describe them. Hitches, receivers, weight distribution, load distribution. Yeah. And they had a product that they were just piloting. And unfortunately, so we had conversations with them. And we were just about to start shooting some video segments on that, and then COVID happened.
Right.
So that'll give you kind of the timeline. So now it looks like some of that same technology is coming out here from Ford, built in to their, at this point, Ford is saying just the F-150, and it's a big deal. I cannot tell you, Jay, how many times as an RV owner over the years, and knowing about load distribution and why that matters. And for those of you that don't know why that matters, it really comes down to stability and safety. So you see a lot of these trucks towing heavy load trailers, and they have the back end is squatted, and the front end of the trailer that they're towing.
Yeah, it's like a wide. It looks like if you look at the, you know,
yeah,
it looks like a wide V basically, man. It's almost touching the ground in some cases, which is not a good thing.
Think about what that does to the truck. You lift the front end up, that makes steering more difficult, and it affects your stability. Yeah. It's dangerous. And, you know, not having a balanced tow load it's just harder on the vehicle, but safety really is the bigger factor. So there are some things that you can do to counter that. You load your trailer evenly. You use weight distribution bars to help shift that weight back off the hitch a little bit. And you know, a lot of these hitches only have about a 500-pound limit, so you don't want to be putting them hitch heavy anyway. So Ford has built in that this will come out in the 2021 F-150 onboard scales, which is going to show you the cargo weight. Now, assuming here, and I'm making a little bit of an assumption, if the bed is empty but you have it hooked up to a trailer, it might show you what the bed weight is on that. And they're saying, Ford's saying it'll show you capacities in 3 different ways. And then they have a smart hitch feature, which is going to show you that tongue weight, which is a big deal, because that's where you get into making sure that you haven't overloaded the tongue.
Right.
Having this built into the truck is huge from the perspective that so many people that wouldn't go out and buy those extra tools anyway, because load distribution hitches are expensive,
right,
now have the ability to responsibly tow.
Absolutely. And what's nice about this too, if I'm understanding it, is that it's integrated as part of the onboard nav system and infotainment system, but it also, you can link it to your phone, it looks like, as well.
Yeah, so that Ford's got an app. The thing that's kind of surprising to me, and they're starting with the F-150. Well, that's their most popular selling truck. But
well, not only that, but I think I have a theory behind that. But go ahead.
Well, I have an F-250. Your heavier loads are going to be in your 250, 350, 450. I mean, that F-150, they have increased the towing capabilities and capacities over the years, right, but it's still their weakest tower.
Right.
You're not going to pull, probably not, you shouldn't pull a 25 or a 30-foot fifth wheel with an F-150.
Right. I think, though, my theory on this is maybe, like you just said, I mean, the F-150 is their most popular vehicle, so from a proving ground standpoint, they probably want to try it, on that first.
Lighter towing loads because it has a lower limit, right?
Right.
Yep.
So you're going to get more of a true, real-world test with that particular model, that class. And the other thing too is that yes, the F-150 they sell a lot more units of that, but most of the people that are buying the F-250, F-350, F-450, those Super Duty classes,
yeah,
they need to get in and tow, and it works.
Well,
and let's go.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. Now Ford says that when you put the truck in tow mode or haul mode, that they have continuously controlled dampening, which is tuned to provide basically, I think, in real time. It's using the telemetry coming back in real time from those built-in scales and some other features. But here's what I hope about that. Okay, now Jay, this is just my public service announcement to all of you out there. Who, by the way, if you're watching this, please remember to click that bell, hit the subscribe button, find us on our website over at partscounterguru.com. And I'm going to say that before, because I'm going to offend some of you by this, but please don't be idiots with this. So please don't use your suspension to compensate much for proper load distribution. Yes, it looks like they're going to give you the ability to do that to some degree. Just please be responsible with that. Don't overload the hitch and then just jack your suspension way up to compensate for it, because that still is too much tongue weight, right? So I'm just asking people.
The whole key is even distribution. That's it, right? Even distribution.
Please don't make this so that, and I'm sure this summer I will be behind you, the guy that is going to do this, and you'll end up on the ditch somewhere. But so this is a good thing in general, because it does offer, I think, well, I know because I see it all the time, a frequently overlooked safety,
Absolutely.
thing,
I mean, that was a big deal for you when we were in Vegas and we discovered that Kurt was offering this device as well. Now, for you as an RVer, now you have a gas pusher. A gas puller, not a diesel pusher.
I have a Class A motorhome now, so it's less of a factor for me. I don't need to use a low distribution hitch because I'm not towing anything that heavy.
Right.
But I still have my F-250, and I still, And in fact, I have a friend who I know listens to this. Well, he listens to the podcast, which you can find at partscounterguru.com.
Where's that again?
Partscounterguru.com.
Okay, yeah.
And he just won a towable RV from Camping World through a Twitter contest. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Which, by the way, our Twitter handle is at the counter show. Yeah, he did. And so I gave him my low distribution hitch because I don't use it anymore, and they're expensive. He's got a half-ton Chevy Silverado, and he's pulling like a 20-foot Coleman RV. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's great. I mean, the RV world, the pulling world, the towing world is changing rapidly, just like the tech world in general. The more tech you get, the more things like this you have to make it much easier on your life. And at the end of the day, you're safer, and we're safer for you being able to do those things correctly out on the highway and not put yourself and everybody else at risk. So we don't want to see you jackknifed anywhere and or end up off a cliff somewhere,
I've seen it, man.
I know. I saw a guy one time. Of course, when I say the word Suzuki Samurai, it kind of, So I saw a guy coming down an on-ramp at full speed with a trailer that he could have put he was towing a trailer that he could have put two of the vehicle that he was towing it with on it, but it was loaded with lumber. And he was coming down at such a high rate of speed that the trailer literally started pushing him.
Yeah.
And this thing, he started going crazy. It flipped over. I had to stop, and I pulled him out. Thankfully, the guy was fine, but it destroyed that Suzuki Samurai.
And usually where this happens, that's a good point. There's one or two areas that I see this frequently. It's typically speed related. You see it when they're going too fast. You see it when you're like descending, coming down a big mountain or whatever, which again, ultimately is, speed. You're going too fast. But the wind will blow, they'll get a gust of wind, or they'll get a little, somebody will go past them and they're going too fast, and they'll start to feel that sway, and they'll panic and they'll hammer the brakes, and now it's game on. Because that big, heavy trailer that you're towing is now pushing you, and you're doing this business. You're wigwagging. And then you overcorrect the wheel, and then it's game over.
Yep.
Right? So
it is.
It's a good thing. I think this is This is the first that I have seen in any of the major pickup manufacturers in terms of adding this as a factory option. I think it's going to do well. We'll see. It'd be good to keep, just to watch and see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll keep tabs on it. So, like I said in the beginning, it's finally good to hear some good news lately out of Ford or some of our automakers because of the problems that they're having right now with just getting vehicles built. But good for Ford on this. It's a great move. So, yeah, that's fantastic, man. So don't forget to subscribe, guys. YouTube.com/Parts Counter Gurus.